If you're a software team struggling with your change and release management, then I have the video for you. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Apwide's Golive, and this tool is going to change your life. This is going to make managing and tracking releases so much easier. And before we take a look, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and let's jump into it. And so the first thing you want to do is use the link down in the description and install Golive by Apwide. Now, there's a couple of steps that you're going to have to do here. You need to set up your applications and your environments before you get too far. Now, fortunately, there are some really good instructions on how to do all this, and I'm just going to give you a quick primer of what this is. You want to set up your applications, and an application is basically your component, or if you're using Compass, a part of your system. Okay, and you want to think of your applications like an ERP system. Maybe you have a specific website or a part of your website, basically big parts of your services that you deliver code to using your CI/CD tools. Then those items are the ones you're going to want to capture. Next, we have our environments. And you want to think of your environment as a stage. Do you have a pre-prod? Do you have a staging? Do you have a development and a production, right? What kind of environments do you have? Most teams are going to have some sort of a development environment, followed by some sort of a pre-prod or staging environment, followed by the production environment. And so make sure you capture what makes sense for you and your team and whatever your current architecture looks like. And so once you set all of that up, you're going to be able to set up your environment tracking. And this app does a really good job at walking you through all of it. But your tools like Jenkins, Bitbucket, GitHub Actions, all that's going to be in here as well. And then all your monitoring tools, whatever you're using there. Now, once you set it all up, the magic of Golive is going to come together. And I want to focus on this environment dashboard here, because this, my friends, is the single greatest thing I've ever seen in the world of software development and Jira together. And what we're answering in this dashboard here is, here are our different applications. We have CRM, e-commerce, ERP. Again, your applications, your particular parts of your system, you're going to have your list here. But what's most important and what's most critical and what I love about this app is that for each of your environments, right? So we have a dev, integration, demo, staging, and production environment. You get to see the version of the software that is in those environments for each of those applications. And this, my friends, is so important because change management and release management are very, very important things, especially if you work in a regulated industry. I used to have a job where my job was to literally go to each system that we delivered some sort of a software package to, and I had to document on paper the versions that were on each of those systems. And that was a full-time job. That was literally my job all day long. And yeah, today we have a lot of CI/CD tools that make this so much easier for us, but it's still not 100% perfect because those tools, while they do a really good job at tracking the versions, they don't really necessarily talk back to Jira. So this tool is going to integrate your Jira and your CI/CD tools. And so when you click on one of these, we're going to be able to click into this integration stage, and we're going to be able to see, is it available, the usage of it, and we can change some of the KPIs. But most importantly, we see the version/build number that is tied to our fixed versions inside of Jira. We have the issues that are part of the package. What work items are we delivering, or what work items are part of the CRM 2.5? We can see when it was deployed and who it was deployed by. And we see so much more like any other systems that are dependent on this one and whatever we're depending on here. And when we come down here, we have deployment logs where we can see what issues went with each deployment and who deployed it. And that's not it. On the right-hand side, there's a lot of other situational awareness or context that you can use, like where is this system at? Who should we contact for support? The version of the OS, the team, right? So much other information. And this information is very, very critical because we get a bird's eye view of everything. And if some service is down, we can actually see that as well here, and we can go figure out why that system is down. But the fun doesn't stop there. If I go into my Kanban board and I'm looking at a particular bug, maybe my team's working on a bug right now, I have an environment section. I can click on the apps here, go to environments, and the Golive application is naturally embedded into Jira. And the most important question I can answer here is for this particular bug, ECP30 as an example, where is it? Where is it deployed? And I can see where it's been deployed by this little cloud icon. And I can see when it was actually deployed, and I can get that situational metadata. So gone are the guessing games of like, well, did we push that feature to production? Where is this feature being tested at? Is the bug there yet? Like, where in the world is that bug? Which again, you can see a lot of this information in your deployment section, right? Especially if you've integrated your deployments with Jira, but you just get a little bit more context with Go Live. And I think it's worth it, right? Because just getting that extra context is going to answer so many questions that usually require so many manual processes that just make so much sense. So in this first video, I want to encourage you to set up Go Live so that you can track, right? The important thing is that we're tracking for each of our features or bugs or whatever it is your team is working on. We're able to track and be able to see which environment and where in our life cycle of our software development life cycle is our code, which is super important, right? Because this is such an important question that as software engineers we ask ourselves all the time, and usually it's not that trivial, right? And yes, like I said, the information is technically in your CD tools, right? Your Bitbucket pipelines are going to have it, your GitHub actions are going to have it, but they don't always come back to Jira. And your PM, right? The person that's asking, hey, where's this stuff at? Your testers that are trying to figure out, is this thing ready for me to test? That's where they're going to start getting this context and they're going to have this information. So you have a drop in the number of questions that people have, and they're going to be able to go to a single source of truth that actually tells them, because we're using live data, right? We're integrating with our CI/CD tools. So we're not duplicating data in any way, shape, or form. And you're going to be able to see all that information. But that's not all, folks. Another cool feature that you have is instead of just seeing this environment dashboard, which again, you know I really, really like, you have the ability to see any of the other dashboards that are already created for you. And you also have the ability to create your own view. So you can click on this create view and you can pick a timeline, you can pick a matrix, a list, or detail. And so the one that I was just showing you right now was the environment dashboard that already has that information, but feel free to create your own dashboards. And from there, you can click on the settings to modify your view for your new dashboard. And for your columns, the vertical ones going across, you can change it to be either the category, the application, maybe you have an environment URL, or your deployed version, your status, right? Whatever you want, you can click on that here, and it's going to give that to you. And then your row, that can be something else that you want. Maybe you want the category, maybe you want the application, the environment URL, deployed version. You can get a little bit more creative there. And so you're able to customize this to a view that makes sense for you and your team. When you finish customizing your dashboard, just simply click on that save button, and now your team's going to be able to use this one. Now make sure you are subscribed, because one of the things that we're going to be talking in a future video is this scheduling timeline. And I'm going to be teasing it to you right now, but one of the benefits about Go Live is that it can do three things. It can do tracking, which is what we've covered so far in this video, but you can also do your scheduling from here. And then in the third and final video, we're going to talk about orchestration. And so again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're coming back, because we're going to be dropping those videos very, very soon. But in the next one, we're going to go over scheduling in more detail. Now, the last thing I'm going to do for you is link the instructions and documentation for how to use Go Live, because this app does require a little bit of setup, right? But once you have it all set up, once you've created your environments, once you've created all the applications that you need to create, then you're going to be able to have a lot of context, and Jira is going to make a lot more sense for you. And that's it for this one. If you found this video valuable, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and more importantly, check out that link down below if you want to start your free trial to Go Live. This is an app that every software team should be at least considering, and I highly recommend you check this one out. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.